Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're all about taking things you think you know and, well, finding the details that really matter. Today, it's something we do almost every day. Navigating the roads, we're looking at driving rules.
Right.
But forget just memorizing for a test. We want to unlock the stuff that actually helps you feel, more confident and safer out there.
Exactly. We've got a collection of essential driving guidelines here. Think of them as focused questions and answers.
Okay.
It's kind of a direct route to being a smarter, safer driver or pedestrian, really.
So the mission today.
It's to pull out the most important bits, maybe some surprising ones from these guidelines, help you become more informed without feeling like you're studying a manual again.
All right, sounds good. Let's dive right into traffic signals and signs then. We all think we know them, but sometimes there's a bit more to it, isn't there?
There often is, yeah.
Like, take the flashing yellow arrow. What's the actual procedure there?
The flashing yellow. It's interesting because it really puts the decision on you. It means you can turn, but only after yielding to oncoming traffic.
So yield first.
Absolutely. You have to judge if it's safe to proceed. It's quite different from a solid yellow light, where the expectation is to stop if you can do so safely.
Right, the flashing arrow is more about assessment. Got it.
Precisely. Adaptive assessment.
Now, what about hand signals? Are those just old-fashioned, or do they still matter?
Well, they're surprisingly relevant. Think about it. What if your signals fail, or maybe they're just hard to see?
Good point.
Knowing hand signals provides a crucial backup. For a right turn, the signal is hand and arm extended upwards.
Upwards for right, okay.
It's about clear communication, especially helpful for cyclists, maybe pedestrians too, who don't have the same view.
Makes sense. Sort of universal road language. Okay, let's shift to the lines on the road. A dashed yellow line. What's the key thing to remember?
Okay, dashed yellow. That separates traffic moving in opposite directions. And the crucial part, if the dashed line is on your side of the center, it means you're generally allowed to cross it to pass another vehicle. But, and this is key, only when it's safe.
So it's permission to consider passing, not a guarantee.
Exactly, unlike a solid yellow line, which is a definite no passing.
Right. And what about a white broken line?
White broken lines, typically separate lanes moving in the same direction.
Okay.
And seeing those means you can change lanes or pass other vehicles. Again, always making sure it's safe first. More flexibility there.
Different color, different direction, different rules. Good. Now, picture this. You're approaching a drawbridge, signal's red. What's the absolute must-do?
Oh, that one's non-negotiable. Red signal at a drawbridge means a complete stop, period.
No inching forward.
Absolutely not. Think about the potential danger. Those signals demand total compliance for safety.
Okay, crystal clear on that one. What about railroad crossings? Specifically the ones that just have the crossbuck sign, no flashing lights or gate.
Right, the passive crossings. Those require extra vigilance from you.
How so?
You absolutely must slow down, look carefully both ways, listen for a train. Just because there aren't flashing lights doesn't mean it's clear.
So the responsibility is entirely on the driver.
100%. You have to confirm the track is clear yourself. If you can't see well down the tracks, slow down even more.
Makes sense. Okay, last one for this section. Roundabouts. Still confusing people. What's the main principle?
The core principle is simple. Travel counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Got it.
And always, always yield to traffic that's already in the roundabout. They have the right of way. It's designed to keep traffic flowing smoothly and reduce serious crashes.
Counterclockwise and yield. Okay, that helps simplify it. Let's move on to intersections and right of way. Always a fun topic.
Yes, can be.
Open intersection, new signs, two cars arrive at the exact same time. Who goes first?
Okay, classic scenario. The rule is the driver on the left yields to the driver on the right.
Left yields to right.
Yes. It creates predictability when there are no signs or signals telling you what to do.
Predictability is good. Now, what if you're pulling out of your driveway onto a main street? What's your main job?
Your job is to yield, plain and simple. You must give way to all traffic already on that main road.
So pedestrians, cyclists, cars, everyone.
Everyone on the main road has the right of way. You need to wait for a safe gap before entering.
Right, don't disrupt the flow. Now, green light ahead, you're going straight.
Yeah.
Can you just hit the gas?
Well, not immediately. Even with a green light, you need a quick check.
Check for what?
Make sure no one is still clearing the intersection, maybe someone running a late yellow or red.
Oh, right.
And also watch for vehicles that might be turning across your path. Green means proceed when safe, not just go.
Proceed when safe. Good distinction. And just so we're clear, define an uncontrolled intersection for us.
Sure. An uncontrolled intersection is simply one without any traffic controls. No stop signs, no yield signs, no traffic lights.
Okay.
That's why those basic right-of-way rules, like yielding to the right, become so important there. Requires more driver awareness.
Definitely. All right, let's change pace a bit. Speed and following distance. What's the standard speed limit for residential areas here in Florida, unless something else is posted?
In Florida, the default maximum for residential zones is 30 miles per hour.
30 miles per hour.
Okay. And that's really for the safety of everyone, you know, kids, people walking, cyclists.
Makes sense.
Meh.
And how do we make sure we're not following the car ahead too closely? What's a good rule of thumb?
The 3 to 4 second rule is a really practical one.
How does that work?
You watch the vehicle in front of you, pass a fixed object like a signpost or a tree. Then you count 1001, 1002, 1003. If you reach that object before you finish counting to at least 3 or 4 in less ideal conditions, you're following too closely.
Okay, that gives you reaction time. Simple enough. Now flip it around. What if you're the one being passed? What should you do?
Your main job is to be predictable and helpful, essentially. Don't speed up.
Right.
Maintain your speed or even ease off slightly if needed. And definitely don't drift towards the left lane. Just let them pass safely.
Be steady, stay put. Got it. On the flip side, driving really slowly, is that always the safest bet?
You know, it seems like it would be, but no, not necessarily. Driving significantly under the speed limit, especially on faster roads like highways, can actually be hazardous. It disrupts traffic flow, can cause backups, and might lead others to make unsafe passes.
Huh. Didn't think of it that way.
Sometimes there are even minimum speed limits posted for that reason. It's about matching the general flow safely.
Interesting point. Okay, let's get into actually operating the car and some key safety bits. High beams at night. When are they okay, and when are they definitely not?
High beams are great for seeing further down the road at night, but only when there are no other cars around.
Yeah.
You absolutely must dim them when you're within 500 feet of an oncoming vehicle. Don't want to blind them.
500 feet, right.
And, just as important, never use high beams in fog, heavy rain, or snow.
Why not?
Because the light just reflects off the precipitation right back at you, making it harder to see, not easier. Use low beams in those conditions.
Good tip. Okay, scenario. 2-lane road, car ahead, stops for a pedestrian in a crosswalk. What do?
You stop too. You absolutely must not pass that stopped vehicle.
Even if your lane looks clear?
Doesn't matter. The reason they stopped is likely a pedestrian you might not see. Trying to pass is incredibly dangerous for that person. Pedestrian safety comes first.
Understood. How about using the shoulder to get around traffic? Ever okay?
Nope. Passing on the shoulder is illegal and unsafe. Shoulders are for emergencies, breakdowns, maybe police or emergency vehicles, not for regular traffic flow.
Clear enough. What about those center lanes you sometimes see on two-way roads? The ones just for turning.
The center left turn lane. Its purpose is specifically for vehicles making left turns.
So you pull in there to wait.
Exactly. You move out of the through traffic lane, wait safely for a gap in oncoming traffic, and then make your turn. It keeps the main lanes moving.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, freeway driving. You realize you just missed your exit. Uh-oh. What's the right move?
The only safe move is to continue to the next exit.
Don't back up.
Absolutely not. Never reverse on a freeway. Don't try to cut across lanes or the median. It's incredibly dangerous. Just go to the next exit and figure out how to get back from there.
Much safer, less stressful too, probably.
Yeah.
What about emergency vehicles, ambulances, fire trucks coming up behind you in heavy traffic, lights and sirens going?
Okay, priority is to let them through, but safely. Don't slam on your brakes or swerve erratically.
So what should you do?
Keep moving cautiously until you see a safe opportunity to pull over to the right side of the road and stop. Make a clear path for them. Sometimes that means moving forward a bit to find a space.
Stay calm. Find a safe spot to yield.
Right. Now, we mentioned blind spots earlier, but specifically for big trucks and buses, how critical is it to be aware of those? It's extremely critical. Trucks and buses have huge blind spots. We call them no zones.
Where are they usually?
Down both sides, especially the right side, directly behind them, and sometimes even in front. These are areas where the driver literally cannot see a smaller vehicle.
So if you're hanging out there,
you're invisible, basically. A huge number of accidents happen in these zones. Best advice: if you can't see the truck driver's face in their side mirror, assume they can't see you. Don't linger there.
That's a great rule of thumb. Okay, specific Florida law question. Are there any exemptions to wearing a seatbelt?
Yes, there are a few limited ones. For example, someone delivering newspapers from their vehicle.
Okay.
Or certain agricultural workers under specific conditions. But it's important to know who isn't exempt. For instance, postal workers delivering mail. They must wear their seatbelts.
Interesting. So not a blanket exemption for all delivery drivers. What happens if someone refuses a blood alcohol test if suspected of DUI?
Refusal has serious consequences. In Florida, if you refuse a lawful request for a breath, blood, or urine test, your driver's license gets automatically suspended for 1 year. For a first refusal. It increases for subsequent refusals.
A full year.
Yeah.
Wow, that underscores the implied consent idea. Let's talk about something less severe, but still important, littering from a car. What are the potential penalties?
Throwing trash on public roads isn't just messy, it can cost you. Fines in Florida can go up to, I believe, $1,000.
$1,000 for littering.
It shows they take keeping public spaces clean pretty seriously. It's also just about being respectful of the environment and other people.
True. Okay, last one in this section. You accidentally bump into a parked car, nobody's around. What's the legal requirement?
You're required to try and find the owner, of course, but if you can't, you must leave a note with your contact and insurance information in a visible place.
Okay.
And you also must report the accident to the police. Don't just drive away.
Right. Handle it responsibly. Okay, let's turn now to think about vulnerable road users. How do we recognize pedestrians who are blind? What aids do they typically use?
The most common aids you'll see are a white cane, sometimes with a red tip, or a trained guide dog, a service animal.
White cane or guide dog.
Yes. And when you see someone using either, you need to be extra cautious and always yield the right of way. They're relying heavily on their other senses and our awareness.
Absolutely crucial. What about cyclists on one-way streets? If the street has multiple lanes, where are they allowed to ride?
Interestingly, on a one-way street with 2 or more lanes, bicyclists are permitted to ride on the far left side of the road.
On the left. Why is that?
It can actually be safer for them. It helps avoid conflicts with parked cars opening doors on the right or with vehicles making right turns. It can also position them better for making their own left turns.
Good to know that specific rule. Finally, just a quick practical point. Vehicle registration in Florida. How often does that need doing?
License plates and registration need to be renewed either every year or you can opt for every 2 years.
1 or 2 years.
Yeah, depends on your preference and the registration type, but definitely something you need to keep current to stay legal.
Right, keep that sticker up to date. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a surprising amount of detail there, haven't we?
We really have. Lots of nuances in these rules.
So, thinking back over everything, what are maybe 2 or 3 takeaways that feel particularly important or maybe even surprising that listeners should really hang on to?
Good question. I think definitely understanding that flashing yellow arrow, it's not a suggestion, it's a yield and assess. That's crucial.
Like conditional.
Yeah. Also the blind spots on trucks. Really internalizing how big those no zones are and staying out of them, that's a lifesaver.
Very practical.
And maybe the rule about not passing a car stopped for a pedestrian, it seems obvious, but it underlines that fundamental need to protect those most vulnerable on our roads.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points. And hopefully for you listening, this shows these rules aren't just, random hoops to jump through.
Right.
They're built on logic and experience, all aimed at making things safer and more predictable for everyone sharing the road. Understanding why can really make a difference.
It really can. And that actually leads to a thought you could take away with you.
Oh, yeah?
As you're out driving, maybe think about how all these individual rules, even the small ones, fit together. How do they create this larger system of traffic flow and hopefully safety? And maybe even what other sort of unspoken rules or common practices do you notice people following or maybe not following out there every day?
That's a really interesting thought to chew on, how the written and unwritten rules interact.
Great point. Well, thanks for helping us navigate all that.
My pleasure. And thanks to you for joining us on the Deep Dives. Until next time, drive safely and stay aware out there.